you look at this whole table, can you see the whole table run out? Or is it a little bit overwhelming to you? And if it is overwhelming, that's okay. There's no pass or fail here. I'm going to cut away to a graphic and show you a couple things. Now, your first thought or question actually, should be, can I shoot this one in the pocket and get on the two? Or should I play safe, or should I push out? And you can see here that I have a pocket for the one, and I can get on the two. And so your second thought should be, are there any major problems on this table, or any balls tied up? And on this particular table, the 8 is making things a little bit difficult on the 2, but it should still be okay. Now, what I see when I first glance at this is it looks like pattern rack, except the opposite of the pattern rack. If we look at the 1, it's down table, the 2 is back up table, the 3 is down table, the 4 is back up table, and the 5 is down table. So the objective, if someone is pattern racking you and you're breaking, is to make you shoot the cue ball all over the table. Therefore, it increases your chances that you're going to screw up the run out. He's going to get the table back, and he's going to beat you. So this is not a pattern rack. In a pattern rack, the 1 would be up table, the 2 would be down table, the 3 would be up table, the 4 would be down table, and the 5 would be up table. But it is like the opposite. It's just a weird coincidence, but it is going to make this run out difficult, and there are times where I'm going to have to move that cue ball a little bit. So now, as you look at the rack, knowing that you can make the 1, you can get on the 2, and no balls are seriously tied up, so there's no major problems. The only big problem you have is the balls are so spread out and back and forth, it's going to be a little bit difficult. So now, can you see the whole pattern and where you need to be on all 9 balls on this table? And if it's still overwhelming for you and I do this, does that clear things up for you? So if you said yes, now you can see it much more clearly. This is what you need to picture in your brain as you're stepping to the table and getting ready to run these balls out. You have to train your brain to see this. Your cue ball is pretty much center table. How do you want to shoot this one to get the cue ball on the 2? That's the first question. Here are your options. And of course, I went with option C because the objective is to keep it easy, but it's not all about keeping it easy. Let's see this graph with the 2-ball line, and I'll show you exactly what we're trying to do here. Now, I want to be on the right-hand side of the 2-ball line, and the easiest way to do that was option C in the way I shot it. And the reason I want to be on the right side and not the left side, which would be the wrong side, is because I want to stun this cue ball out. It's about center table to shoot the 3, a little further to the right than center, to shoot the 3 and get back up table for the right position on the 4. Now, it's possible to achieve all that with option A, but you're coming way too close to the 2-ball, which means you're decreasing your margin of error. And to accomplish that, you're going through all that traffic, and a whole lot can go wrong there. So this would definitely not be keeping it simple. This is the hard way. And option B brings us up on the left-hand, on a steep angle on the left-hand side of the 2-ball line. And now we're going to have to go to the left-hand long route and bounce out to center table for a shot on that 3-ball. And again, you're going through traffic and just everything can go wrong here. And you know this story, and if you're struggling with your game, it's because you're doing things the hard, complicated way, and option B is definitely hard and complicated. So let's go ahead and take a look at our options on the 2-ball. I chose option A, and just to pull it back just a hair and stun it out about a foot toward center table, just to have the right shot on the 3 to get the shot I need on the 4 and get back down table on the 5. This is the simplest, best way to do it. Option B is the same amount of draw and stun, except you're hitting it harder to get straight in on the 3, and I don't want to be straight in on the 3. I need an angle to come off that rail and get right on the 4. Option C is shot with a lot of draw, and there's just no logical reason to do this. I can't think of one valid reason to shoot this shot, so it just makes no sense. But people do it, and people do it all the time just to show other people what they can do. They wind up getting in big trouble and regretting it. So now, even if you make the 3 ball, how are you going to get on the 4 ball? You're going to be stuck on the 4 and just kicking yourself in the butt. So there's no reason to shoot this shot. So let's take a look at your options on the 3 ball. Option B is the right option because it keeps everything simple, out of danger, and you're at the perfect position to get from the 4 back down table on the 5 and the right angle on the 5. Option A is all wrong because you're going through all that traffic and a whole lot can go wrong here. The golden rule is stay out of traffic if you can. Option C risks a scratch in the side, and you're just doing too much work here, and there's a good chance that you're going to wind up straight in on the 4 and in big trouble when trying to get back down on the 5. It's that time. Let's go look at the 4 ball. Option A is the best option, and even though this could wind up a disaster, if I hit on the left side of the 9 ball, that 9 could roll up right in front of me for my shot on the 5 ball. But I had to take this chance. I need the 9 ball as a stopper. I don't want to baby this up and come up short, so I needed something there to make sure I could hit it solid without losing control of the cue ball. Option B is a bad option because it brings you up on an angle where if you go all the way down to the bottom and hit that bottom rail, you're going to wind up on top of the 5 with no viable shot on the 5. And if you come up short on this, you're going to have trouble making it and getting right on the 6 ball, so that's out. Option C, and pulling it straight back, is just a terrible option because we come up short, you have no shot on the 5. If you go long, you're going to be straight in on the 5, and that's going to make it extremely difficult to get on the 6. That's if you don't get hooked behind the 7. Don't even consider a shot like this under these circumstances. And now it's off to the 5 ball options. With option C because there's just no traffic, so there's nothing to worry about there. And it gives me the perfect angle on the 6 to get on the 7, the right position on the 7 to get back up table on the 8 ball. Option A here makes pretty much no sense at all unless you like shooting combinations, and if you can avoid combinations, you should do it, and this is a case where you should absolutely avoid it. Option B isn't bad, but you're going to have to put a lot of right-hand English on this, which makes you deal with deflection, and you could wind up hitting that 7 and just, making it hell. So now let's go look at the 6 ball shot. Alright, so Richard wants to come up and show me something on his phone, so while that's happening, I'm going to keep on rolling it and show you why I choose option A. And basically there's not much to it, it just keeps things simple and puts me perfect on the 7 ball. Now I do go a little bit long on this shot and wind up, a little bit back table, back up table. But the important thing is I got the angle I need on the 7 to get back on the 8, and that'll make more sense to see when we go look at it. Yeah, option B, you're just trying to do a little too much with the cue ball and you're taking unnecessary risk. And I also don't like the angle we're going to wind up on the 7 ball. It's going to distort how we get on the 8 ball. Option C is just taking you too far away from the 7 ball, and there's no reason to have to take a long shot on this. Plus, it gives you a bad position on the 7 ball, and we certainly don't want to get straight in on the 7. We're going to have problems getting on the 8 if we do that. And now let's go see what we have on the 7 ball. So let's go really in deep and see why I decided to shoot this with option B. If we take a look at the 8 ball line, shooting it this way forces you to get on the left side of the 8 ball line to get back up table or down table on the 9 ball. And this is another shot that I've practiced a lot, and I shot the 4, 5, and 6 just for the purpose of getting in this position on the 7 to get right on the 8, which is the left side of the 8, to get back down table on the 9. So I know exactly where that cue ball is going to hit that 3rd rail, and I know if I shoot it hard enough, I know the exact angle that it's coming off that rail, and I know without a doubt that I'm going to be getting on the left side of this 8 ball line. With option A, the agenda is to shoot this 8 ball in the top left-hand corner pocket. And I don't like that option because this is a thin cut on the 7 ball, which means you're really going to have to hold up on your stroke. You can't let your stroke out on this shot. You just kind of have to trickle up in line with the 8. And it's just, you're walking on eggshells, and you don't need this nervousness, especially at the end of a game. As for option C, you're reversing the English on the cue ball, so you're putting a right-hand English on this. And this is going to do two things. It's going to kill the angle off the bottom rail, and it's going to slow that cue ball down a lot, which makes this shot hard to judge. it really becomes iffy on if you can get on the left side of this 8-ball line. It's just too risky, and a lot can go wrong here. So I recommend not shooting this. If you come up short on that 8-ball, you're going to have to shoot a 4-rail shot to get on this 9. It's too much work. So yeah, option B is the best way to go for me. Let's go ahead and take a look at this 8-ball shot.
Vacation we had before the pandemic was down to Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Sorry about this, just a little bit of hold up. He's a good guy. Welcome to YouTube, Richard.
This is where he's buried. Just followed the entire blues trail from Tunica, Mississippi down to Clarksdale, then to Natchez, and from Natchez to Biloxi. Stayed at the Golden Nugget Hotel and Casino.
Man, you've been around. So yeah, I went with option C, and at this point in your journey, I know you can figure out why I chose this option. Basically, it keeps everything simple. There's no pocket around the scratch in, and all you pretty much have to do is just stun it off the 8-ball, and it will come down on the 9-ball in perfect position. You can't ask for much more than this. And we are getting ready to do the loop back here, which means playing the whole game without any cuts, without any narration, without anything, just showing you the pace of the game. But before I get to that, let's go look at why I didn't choose option A or B. And A is pretty simple. You could risk a scratch here if that top hand roll forward hooks up too much, or you could hit the 9, or you could wind up on the wrong side of the 9, or just having no shot on the 9-ball. And option B, just pretty much a show-off shot. And I know a lot of guys that will shoot these, and when I was young, I would shoot these all the time just to show off. But it could be a big mistake, and if that draw hooks up too much, you could scratch in the side. And all around, when you get older, you realize that's too much work to show off, so let's just do it the easy way. So there you go, the secrets of pool. You think a lot, you keep it simple, and you stay in control of Whitey. That's about it. Now go out there and skunk Jason Shaw 11-0, and then remind him that he lives in America now, so he has to play for America in the Moscone Cup.
Yeah, mate. You live in America. You play for America now. You don't just come here using us like a Motel 6. You play for America in the Moscone Cup. You're American now. You don't like this? You go back to Scotland, mate.
I think that was an Australian accent.
It's all the same, mate. You can't just come here and use us and abuse us. You don't mess with Texas. You don't mess with Texas. We kick your ass out of here. You play Moscone Cup and you play your best game too. Yeah, go beat the